Hey everyone. I'm going to wait a few minutes before I get into all to the details, but I'm super excited of what God has done. So I'm just going to wait for a minute and see if anybody hops on, and then we will go from there. But I'm super excited about what God has done. And when I say God, it was all Him. I can't wait to share this with you guys. Gonna wait a minute or two, and then we'll just go ahead and dive in. How's everybody doing on this Sunday? I know it's nighttime, but I just couldn't hold it in any longer. It is time to share, and just super excited about what God is doing. So I'm just going to go ahead and just jump right in. I'm excited about what God has done, and when I say what God has done, I mean that with everything in me, because if it wasn't for the Lord, this would have not been possible. So I'm so thankful. Just want to praise Him and glorify Him that to never not dream big with God. If you would have told me years ago that I would have written a book, that God would have given me a book to write, I would have laughed and said, I don't know about that. It would have seemed too big and too far-fetched. But don't ever dare to dream big with God, because with God, all things are possible. I'll say that again. With God, all things are possible. So, I don't know, for those of you that's been on my journey with me for the past, I'll say it's going on 7 months actually. Back in September, and I'm going to share a little bit of my story for those of you that didn't know, but back in September of last year, the Lord literally gave me the title of a book, and He put it in my spirit, and He was telling me exactly what I needed to do. He said, I want you to write this book. And so, coming from a girl that had never had any experience with writing a book, but growing up as I was younger in my walk with the Lord, I do remember the Lord would give me verses about how my tongue was as a pen of a ready writer. He would give me that scripture a lot, and I didn't really think nothing about it until He told me to write this book. And it's crazy. The year before that, the Lord had given me a devotional that I wrote, which I haven't published yet, but that might be coming soon. So just be patient on that. But this past year, He gave me this title of this book, and it was about discovering your God-given purpose. And I talk to many, many women each day, and so many people that don't know what they are on this earth for. They know they go to work, they do their jobs, they have a home, they have a family. They do all these things, which are important and are a great work. But God specifically told me that He was going to use this book, and it was going to be a quick work. And He told me this. He said it was going to be a quick work. And I'm telling you, when I say quick, I literally would start writing. He gave me the idea in September of last year. And then time in October came. I went to California. Another God thing. He made me go all the way to California to this conference with Kingdom Alliance, and it was amazing. And God literally has used Kingdom Alliance, who I have been through and have been connected to for the past year, actually, of my life. God used those women in this community and the leaders to turn my dreamer back on with God. You know, so many of us, we can be in this walk with God for a while, and life happens, and sometimes we have a vision for our life, and it just seems like we're never going to get there. Can anybody say that they've been there, that you can relate, that there's a vision God's maybe given you of your life, but yet you haven't seen it? You're waiting still. You're in the middle of the waiting. And so, one thing that, God did use with Kingdom Alliance is that they helped me to turn that God dreamer back on. And I believe that there's some of people on here tonight, right now, watching, that God is wanting to turn that God dreamer, dream big with God, back on. Because God, when He's in it, it'll work. And when I say that this book that He gave me, guys, was a God thing, it's 100% Him. Because I couldn't have done it without Him. Having a family of my own, having a full-time job, it's hard to do these things, but with God, all things are possible. So I want to encourage you with that tonight. I'm super excited because the Lord literally gave me this book September of last year. Time I come back in October from this conference, and let's just say 2024 was an exciting year for me. A lot of hard, difficult things, but I pressed through. And I ended up going through a course through Kingdom Alliance, that an academy class that they started offering just of October of last year. I give a shout out to Camille Campkin Atkins, I think. Just want to shout out to her in this academy that she allowed for people to go through to help you with your writing if you were going to write a book. And that course really did help me, and it has been such a big God thing in my life and a blessing. And I was writing even as I was going through this class and this course, and it was a good few weeks. Like, I don't remember if it's 6 weeks or 7 weeks, but we had a teaching every week, and it was such a God thing that God said, I am ready to do this now. And just a while back, He told me, He said, Kim, this is a quick work. A quick work. For some reason or another, He wants this book out into the world. So I just went with it, guys. I went and I followed the leading of His Spirit. And as I started to type and to write, I literally felt like He was just taking my hands, and it was just giving me exactly what I needed. He gave me all what He wanted me to put in the table of contents. He gave me every title of the chapter, and it just started flowing. And when you're doing what God's called you to do, doesn't mean that it doesn't come with obstacles, but God will see you through it from beginning to the end. And I am a testament of that. And I want to encourage you all with that whatever may seem too big for you or seem impossible for you, it's impossible with man, but with God, all things are possible. So this book is a God thing, and I really wanted to just share it with you guys tonight. And I know I talked to Megan Hicks, and she actually published a book last year, and it was such a blessing, still is to this day, and such a mighty woman of God. But she has helped me a little bit along my journey with the editing, and like telling me things that I need to do to format my book, because she's been there. So God has brought people in my path to help me along this journey of writing, and I'm so, so grateful for them. So I'm just so blessed. I've seen God's hand on it. And so when God's in it, it'll work, and His hand will be upon it. And I believe that this book is meant to be a blessing to others, and that so many people need to get a hold of this book. And I'm going to just share it. And I feel like it's a spiritual baby. I know Megan, she shared this as well, but I feel like I literally, in the Spirit, gave birth with this book that He gave me. It's definitely been Him. And I know that I couldn't have done it. I will say this again. I could not have done this, but only through Jesus. Only through Christ can we do all these things. So I pray that this is a blessing to you all, but I want to share it with you all. Hello, Karen. Hello, Jessica. Hey, Ashley. The book that He gave me, this book is called, I don't know if it's upside down or sideways for you all, but it looks sideways on me, but it's a journey of discovering your God-given purpose. This is my author copy, my proof copy. So it's got that little line, which your books will not have this, but this is the one I had to use to proof. But it says a journey of discovering your God-given purpose. And then right here that you can't see, it says unlocking His gifts and calling in your life. And I can just say that this is a blessing. So much breathed from God in it. And so I wanted to just share a little bit of it with you all. And on the back, I've got my little picture and then all these little things that I put. And I'm just going to tell you all what it says. Have you ever had this question come to your mind before? God, why am I here on this earth? And like I said, guys, I've heard so many women and people that I've come across in life, and they're like, I don't understand why I'm here. Like, what am I here for? God has us here for a purpose. And it's up to us to seek God, to seek Him, to know what His plans, His will is for our life. But it says, God, why am I here on this earth? What is my purpose? And if you're anything like me, guys, I asked this question for myself at a very early age. I began to question and ask God, I know that there's more. Have you ever felt like when you're going to work and you're doing these things, you're being a parent, you're doing all these things, but you feel like there's something more than what you are doing? You go to this 9-to-5 job, 8-to-5 job, and you know that you are made for more. And each of you are made for more. We are all made for more because God is a God with whom all things are possible, and He wants us to dream with Him. He wants us to seek His hand, to seek His will and His purpose for our life. But this book, guys, it's basically a journey. And when I say a journey, it's a journey because your journey may look different than my journey. But we are all on this journey called life, and we are all going to go through different things. Some of us may go through similar things, but we have ups and downs, highs and lows, and many of you know that 2024 for me was a year of many downs, but it was still God's hand was on it, and God's hand was faithful. He was faithful enough to even let me write this book in the hardest year of my life. So this is a journey, and it's basically you're coming along with me on my journey, but also you're on your own little journey throughout this book. And it's basically you're going to discover God's purpose and calling for your life, and how it don't always come easy. But at many times, guys, it says that it came with me missing it a lot, failing and doing my own thing a lot. But if our heart is set and fixed on getting to that point, He will get us there. But it is a process, and that's why I felt like God said this is a journey, because I'm not saying that time you go through this book, you're going to know, okay? But I pray that it stirs within you that desire to know that there is more for you. There is so much more for God's people. And even for those that don't believe and don't know Him yet, there is purpose for your life. And He tells us, I know the thoughts that I think towards you, thoughts of peace, not of evil, to give you an expected end. And this is just an encouragement that this is a journey. So let's open it up, and I'm just going to share a first few pages of it. But I'm super excited that God has allowed me to do this, and I just can't wait to see how He uses it in each and every one of your lives that end up getting a book. Because I believe that God has literally breathed in this book, and that it's going to breathe life into you, because it's got a lot of the Word in it, because the Word of God breathes life into us. So I've got my dedication page, and honestly, I just had to give Him glory. It's all Him. It's all Him that I'm able to do it. But here is my table of contents, and it's got my little intro. You'll see about it. And the first chapter is where it all began, and God's will. Like I said, this is a journey. We are all on an adventure and a journey with the Lord. But I'm basically taking you along some of my journey. You'll hear a lot of stories of things that I've been through, or things that God has shown to me along my journey of getting up to this point in my life. But I'm also taking you along on your journey for you to discover, like it says, a journey of discovering your God-given purpose, so that you will be able to discover the more in what God has for you, what His will and His plan and His purpose is for you. So that's the first chapter, is God's will. Then we have chapter 2, your purpose, your gifts, and your callings. What is your purpose? What is your calling? And then we'll go on down here. This part 3, is the keys to unlocking your purpose and your calling, and how there's different keys that we have to unlock. Each one of these unlocks more that God has for you. Thank you, Megan. You have been such an inspiration to me. I can't thank you enough just for your help with the formatting and trying to figure out all that stuff to get this thing published. But I'm so thankful for you, Megan. excited about more that God has for you. But it goes on, and we're talking about the keys to unlocking your purpose and your calling. And then we go after that, after we unlock these keys of what God has given us, Lord, the things that we need to do. And like, I love this first one. We must first believe in Him. You know, a lot of people, we talk about doing things. We want to do things for God, and that's great. But sometimes we first just got to believe in Him. We got to believe that He is, and that He is a rewarder of those who diligently seek Him. But also, we also have to what? We have to abide in Him. And this kind of what I go through along in this book is that before we do all this doing, we have to be. We have to be with God. In order for us to know what God's plan is for our life and His purpose and His will, we have to spend time alone with Him. We have to get to know Him, get to know His voice, know what His character is, what His purpose is for your life. You know, a lot of us, and I'm just going to be real for a second, and I don't know why I need to share this, but I just do. You know, a lot of us, we go through life thinking that we know best. We know for our children. We want the best for them, but we don't always know what God's will is for their life. We may see gifts and callings in them and can help them towards that. But ultimately, God knows the purpose and the plan that He has for that child that He has entrusted us with. So we have to trust His plan, His will for their lives. His will and His plan for our life. And sometimes, I'm just going to be real, and I'll probably share it throughout the book. You'll hear about it. Our will versus God's will. You know, we want a lot of things, but sometimes what we want is not what God wants. Can anybody say amen? Has anybody been there that you wanted something so bad and God said, no, that's not what I have for you. This is what I have for you. Anybody else got a witness on that? That sometimes God's will and our will are different, but what His will is, what His plan is the best. It is always better than our own. Even though we think that it's best that we do it our way, His way is better. His thoughts are higher, and his thoughts and His ways are so much better than ours. But I go on. I have more little parts, and I've got about 18 chapters, I believe it is. But the Lord, literally, guys, I'll just tell you, it's Him. That's all I can say. It is Him. Let's see. Then we got here, and this part's like the hard and the holy work that you have to go through. Does anybody on here know that sometimes you're going to have to go through a hard and holy work? It's a process. We don't just wake up and do it like, oh, this is what He had. When He might show us these things, but we have to go through a process. We have to go through a season of preparation before He launches us or puts us out into wherever He wants us to do, or before we can publish a book or do anything for Him. We have to go through the season of preparation, a season that is a process, and that's okay, right? And then the last one is the last part of these chapters. It says, "Go and do it." Go and do it. Go and do what God has put you on this earth for. When you wake up every morning, guys, this is what I do. I wake up every morning and I say, God, here I am. Use me today, Lord. Use me today to be a blessing to somebody. If there's somebody that I can help or be an encouragement to or to be a light to, God, that might need some hope today, God, use me. Send me, Lord. I'm here. Send me, God. If nobody else will go, I'll go. And most of the time, He'll tell you to do things if you ask Him that, and that's your prayer. And I really wanted to share this because I just hope this helps somebody else. I know when you work, a lot of us, we work, we go to our jobs. A lot of people just go for the money. That's important. That helps us to live and have things in our home, being able to have food on our table, right? But I want to change that and encourage you to go to work on purpose. God, why do you have me here? Like, why do you have me exactly where I'm at? I know it's more than just what I'm doing. If you sit in front of a computer on your butt all day like I do, there's got to be more. There's got to be more. And so I ask that you all would encourage yourself and ask yourself and ask God, God, let me go to work on purpose today. Let me be sensitive to the needs around me today. Help me to know if there's somebody or a brother or a sister that might need just some hope right now, that I can speak hope into them, because God is a hope dealer. He is a hope dealer. So then I've gone on, and it goes on and gives you my introduction that I just share about what I kind of asked you all. Have you ever had that question come to your mind, what you're put on this earth for? And then here is like some of the parts, God's will. And then I go on and it goes on to the chapters. And there's 18 chapters. And then towards the end of the book, it shares a little bit about me and like a little bit of my life and ways you can connect with me. So I'm super excited to share what God has given me, and I can say it's God. I will say that over and over again, that it's only by God. But I also want to give a shout out to my sister, Pam, who has helped me with editing and doing all that fun work and helping me with that. I thank you, sis, for helping me with that. And so thankful for every person that God has come and put in my life that's seen what was in me. So I want to encourage you all that there is more for you today. There is more to what you are doing right now, because God is a God of more. He is a God of multiplication. I can't even say that word, multiplication. He is more. But this book, I have got it out on, it'll be live soon on Amazon. It is $16.99. When I even prayed about the price and what God wanted me to do, and I feel like that's what He gave me. So it's $16.99. If you are interested in discovering, to going on this journey. Oh, I forgot to share, y'all. I got to share this. I forgot. It's one of my things that God really wanted me to do in this book. I was originally just doing it as a chapter book, and the Lord said, no, I want you to take them on a journey. So I want to get to like one of the end of the chapters, and at the end of each chapter, I forgot to share this. At the end of each chapter, you'll have reflection questions, okay? And it'll have about 3 questions that you can look within yourself, and you can look along in your own journey. Like this first one, it's one of the questions that this is about God's will and where it all began. It's like, have you ever asked God to place you in His will? And it also gives you a space to write in this book. And then at the end of each chapter, you'll have your reflection questions and being able to write. But you'll also have a prayer prompt where you can actually pray about whatever that chapter was about. If it was about like God's will, then it's going to be centered around praying for God's will in your life. This was something I really felt God telling me to do in this book. And like I said, that's why it's called a journey. This is going to be your journey of discovering your God-given purpose. And I'm super excited. I believe that God is going to use this book to stir people's hearts for the more. To stir their hearts to know and want to know more that why He's placed you on this earth for such a time as this. You know, we don't have to look far away or far around to see that there is a lost and dying world. There are people that are so hopeless. I went to Walmart a week ago. I hadn't been going in because I'm one of these pickup people. I love to go grocery pickup, and that's the best thing that's ever hit this earth when it comes to groceries. But I walked into Walmart the other day, and I hadn't been there in a long time, but I could just see the hopelessness on people, on their hearts and their faces. I could just see this sadness, and it just really broke my heart, and it still breaks my heart when I think about it, that there is people that need Jesus. They need hope. They need to know that there is a purpose for their life. So many people, they're gone too soon. They didn't do that thing that God put them on this earth for. And that breaks my heart, because I want to see people walking in what He's placed them on this earth for. It may not be to write a book. It may not be to go preach the gospel. It may not be all these things that are seen. Sometimes it might be just being a light, being a witness to people that you work with. God has a purpose for you. I don't want nobody to forget that He has a journey He wants to take you on through this book. And this book is going to take you on your own journey. You'll be coming along mine, but you'll also go along your own journey. And I pray that it is such a blessing. But the book is $16.99. I am going to go ahead and just take a pre-order on this live. You can put a comment below if you are wanting to purchase a book. I will, when I get done with this video, I will share my Venmo, my Cash App, where you all can, if you want to pay for it, then I will get these ordered, and I'll just order a bunch of them. And for those of you that are local, I can meet up with you guys, or you can come and we'll find a meeting place where you can come pick it up. And for those of you that are not local, there will be it will be on Amazon. It's probably already live. You can check, but like I said, it'll be on Amazon. And then another thing is coming up in May. I think it's the first weekend of May, for any women that would like to come to this event, Equipping the Saints. Justina and the Equipping Saints team, they are hosting an event called A Great Company. And it's basically ordinary women doing extraordinary exploits for God. And so Megan will be there, Justina, there will be a lot of women, and it ain't going to be just for books. It's going to be all these different gifts that God has given people, and we're just going to spur each other on. And I will be there at that event, and I think it's in Hazard at the Forum building. If you're interested in getting a ticket for that, shout out to Justina Salyers, and she will be able to help you with that and you'll get you a ticket. I think they're $10, and I'll be sharing my books there as well, so I can bring them there as well at that event. Super excited about what God is doing and what He's going to do. Excited that He'll take you on this journey of discovering your God-given purpose. I pray that it's a blessing to you guys. Stay tuned. There is more to come. Super excited about what He's doing. When you say yes to God, just hold on and buckle up. That's what I'm going to say, because you never know where your yes will take you. You'll never know what's next until you do that thing that He's calling you to do, whatever that may be. So I pray this is a blessing to you guys. If any of you have any questions or want to know more, just put a comment below. But if you are wanting to get on the first book pre-order, then please comment below that you want it. It's $16.99, and I will get them ordered. And I'm hoping that time I get them all ordered, it should probably take a week or two maybe before we get them. So if that is something you're interested in, I'm super excited to share this. If you know somebody out there that is struggling or don't feel like they have a purpose, or is just having a hard time knowing what God's put them on this earth for, or just needs some hope and encouragement, this book will do that. This book will give them a hope and encouragement no matter what season of life they are going through. So I pray it is a blessing to you guys. Stay tuned. I also have a website coming soon. I probably will be sharing about that sometime this week. It's about finished. So super excited to see what God does with this book. So God bless you guys. Have a great day, and I can't wait to see what God does. You all have a great day. Bye.